Then I fell down, couldn't believe it until I stood up, 10 toes behind Jesus.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on 10 Toes Behind Jesus podcast. My name is Britley, and today we have a very special guest. He plays the guitar at my church, well, our church, Faith Apostolic. He's a musician, a producer, and he does a whole lot of stuff. So, KT Thomas, everybody.
Hey, I'm glad to be on here. I really am.
Yes,
Thank you.
No problem. We have been playing this podcast for months, literally months, and I've been learning so much about music in general, and also about what KT does with music. Like right now, I'm sitting in his studio, which is amazing. He built himself. You want to explain some of the stuff that is going on here? I don't know the correct names or terms, but I just see, and I'm like, okay, like that's
Well,
great.
I'm analog and digital, unlimited tracking. I use a lot of the state-of-the-art outboard gear. I prefer to do analog to digital because you know, as an engineer, you can manipulate the sound a lot better than you can if everything is just straight digital. Analog is more warmth and meaty, I would say. Digital is just real precise and crunchy. That's the best way I can put it. You know, it's just there. But when you have that warmthness, that analog warmthness, that's when you add, you know, it's easier to add character
To it.
Yeah.
So a little background, I help run the sound at my church. So a lot of this stuff is so new to me, and like KT, you have really helped me so much with learning stuff, and I oftentimes like I find you so funny because the way so they have their in-ears and their mics, and like he can pick up and notice every single thing, and so sometimes I'll like notice something, and then I look at him and he'll be in the mic like something is not right, like something's off, something this. So it's really helped my ears, and so it's really cool to see all this in action. Like I see these keyboards, it's like a real studio. Like you know how people be inside the door and the headsets and recording. So I'm just like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Well, we're sitting in the control room.
Okay.
And
this huge board, like
back there, that's the vocal booth. Right now, I had my Roland digital kit mixed with Tama acoustic. I'm in the process of actually recording. Yeah. Live recording session, I would say.
Yeah, I might see some clips of me trying to play the drums after this podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. That would be cool.
Yes, but most importantly, KT is saved.
Yep.
He is faithful in the church, and that is what this platform is all about, is telling your experience on what God has done for you, how God called you into the ministry. And so I'm going to let you fully tell it all, but he's worked with top-notch musicians and artists, and so I never asked or like, so how did you get saved? Like, what's your story? So here it is. So would you tell the guests, like, how you got started, artists you worked with, how and when God called you to ministry, and like what that looked like? Because I know it's a lot of like young church musicians, like kind of on the same path that you were on, and kind of like navigating through that. And so just all that.
Okay. Well, it was in 2003. At the time, I was in California. We had our studio in Chatsworth, California. My partner, which is my brother, you know, he comes to Birmingham. He came to our church.
Brother?
Yeah.
Wow. When was the last time?
I don't know if you met him or not, but he came to our church several times.
Wow. I didn't even know you had a brother. See? Why did he say?
And during that time, I was working with Sheldon Reynolds of Earth, Wind and Fire on a project, and this was before I was saved, and I was really a R&B producer.
Okay.
And we was working with Hendrix slash with Universal Records. Hendrix,
The guitar player?
his sister Janie Hendrix. You know, I can show you autographs and pictures.
What's funny is like I don't even know if you have Instagram, but there was a clip of you playing on the live stream, and I was like, man, KT can go toe to toe with Jimi Hendrix, and like I didn't even know you had connected with him and stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. Matter of fact, one of my guitar pedals I use at church is by Jimi Hendrix.
Wow. Dang.
And during that time, God really started dealing with me. Because I'm a firm believer in when God want to get your attention, he can and he will.
Mm-hmm.
So, right in the middle of that, I was telling my brothers, like, look, man, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not feeling right here in California. So, you know, it kind of hurts me because of the way a lot of stuff happens. But, you know, my brother, he was supportive. And he just looked at it as, well, I tell you what, when you know, do what you're going to do, we'll just have multiple studios. And it worked out. And,
So saying as if like the studio that you were in, they're gonna keep on doing what they're doing, but maybe add one that you can go to and like do it.
well, I'm part owner slash partner of studio in California.
Okay.
But we have 3 locations.
Okay.
And the main, I would say not the main, my brother, which is Tito Jackson's road manager,
Wow.
and they worked on a studio together. So when we was out there, matter of fact, when we was out there, we was working on this project.
Bro.
And
Full circle.
yeah, and we was back and forth from our studio in California, you know, the studio that my brother consulted and worked with on Tito's in Calabasas. By the way, my brother's name is Rodney Rock Thomas. Just put that out there.
Rodney Rock Thomas. He's still living in California.
Yeah, he's still there now.
So how did you get to Alabama?
Well, I was born here.
Okay.
I was actually born in a Holiness Church.
Really? What church?
Shoot, that was way back. I don't know if the church is actually still going today, but it was called the number 1 True Holiness Church of God.
Okay.
And
so that foundation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The foundation was there.
Mm-hmm. So that's why when God started calling, it was like, I can't escape this.
Yeah, and I was right in the middle of a project. You know, getting ready to get paid a lot of money for it. And
wow.
I said, I can't do it.
Wow.
I walked away from it. And the devil, he was stopping it big time. So when I left California and I moved to Atlanta, we had just had a release of her name is Jackie Ball, and she came out on Crown Music Entertainment Group and Sony Records.
Okay.
And right when they got released, I was in Atlanta, and I got hurt in a life-threatening accident. And that's when God showed up, showed out.
Yep.
By doctor's terms, I was supposed to be paralyzed, but God said, you're going to walk. And I'm walking today.
Yep.
Although I have to use my cane, but he's brought me through years and years of surgeries and rehabilitations. But he also used me to be a witness to a lot of the secular people in the R&B and pop and all of that to be witness, and that's what I'm doing. You know, no matter who I'm working with, they know.
Mm-hmm.
You
Where
know,
you staying?
I'm in church, and it's only so far I'm gonna go.
Sorry.
No, no.
I'm saying that's good to know that, like, especially in that industry, because I mean, really, just in life, the world is gonna try to push you, and see how far you can go. So to where you have that stand, and they all know, like, okay, once he gets here, nope, might as well just ask somebody else, do something else. Like, it's not gonna work. So that's the story. I didn't know you were in Atlanta. That was the injury you were telling me about.
Yes, that's I was in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
How long of recovery do you think? Like, how long of a recovery did that take for you to get back? Like,
From then to now, basically about 15 years. So all I can say is God is good, and everything happens for a reason.
yeah,
I look at it, before I got saved, I was out there in the world and I did everything I was big and bad enough to do. So God saw if I would have stayed on that path, I'd probably be dead in hell.
Mm-hmm.
So it took that, my injuries, to put me on a whole nother path where he wants me to be.
Yep.
And I have no regrets. I'm happy. Matter of fact, I'm more happy.
There you were then. So how do we get to Faith Apostolic Church? That's your church we go to.
How I got to Faith Apostolic, first my mom was going to that church.
Okay.
And I was basically still in my recovery phase. And God just led me there.
Mm.
My mom went a couple of Sundays and she joined. And she said, KT, well, Mom said a real name, which is Kelvin, Kelvin, but I'm known by KT. But she said, you really need to come hear this bishop. You really need to hear him.
Wow.
And this is the weird thing. Before I went, I came, I sit, and I was listening to him, and I was like something, I just felt it.
Felt it.
So I came back another Sunday, and at this time then I was at another church, and God said, I want you to go to Faith. But it wasn't for Bishop Johnson. It was for now is Bishop Michael Bender. God sent me there to be under Bishop Michael Bender's wings.
Wow. And how many years was that, like, from when you started going there, how many years until Pastor Bender became the pastor? Yeah. Bishop.
Well, I know I've been there at least 10 years strong, faithful member. And I'm not sure how long it's been since Bishop Johnson passed, but I was there.
And so, I was a little girl when Bishop Johnson was preaching at Faith, so I don't remember a lot of stuff, but did he know a lot about music?
Bishop Bender?
No, Bishop Johnson.
Bishop Johnson? Well, I don't know if he knew a lot about it, but he said it openly that he was looking for God to bring a guitar player and
Wow.
violins and just a lot of orchestra type
I love
musicians and instruments. Well, when he said that, I wasn't even in the church.
Oh, wow. But the
And
word
then
got to you.
it you know,
Reached
God sent me there, and I've been there ever since.
Wow.
And then he got his wish before he passed. You know, like Caitlin plays the violin. Me,
Yep.
I'm a multi-musician. If I'm not playing drums, I'm playing bass. If I'm not playing bass, I'm playing guitar. So I hope they don't need me on keyboard.
But you can get on there too.
But no, Reginald got that on lock though. That's my homie. But ever since I've been saved, you know, the devil, I mean, he still tugs at me.
Yeah.
You know, he try to make it feel like you missed this, you missed touring and all of this kind of stuff. And I don't. Because when I get to church, it's no matter what's going on in my life or how I'm feeling. A lot of times, you know, like when the weather changes, my body reacts to it. And sometimes I be feeling like I can barely walk in there sometimes, but people never know it. Because my thing is, you're going to hurt regardless. So if I'm going to hurt, no matter if I'm at home, I'd rather be hurting at church. And the Spirit of God get on me and in the church. You know, that's where you can get your healing.
Yes.
And
that is so true.
And you and I, we see it every Sunday. Every Wednesday, somebody's getting delivered. Somebody's getting baptized.
Seriously.
Changing their life over to Jesus.
Yep.
And it just does my heart. I don't look at it. I'm going to praise God on my guitar and let His Spirit work through me on my instrument.
Yep. And I'm a witness of that. Like, it's been so many times God has used you playing, and it's just like, you feel God's presence, and it's like, man, God is so real. Yes. But literally every Sunday, every Wednesday, like, you see it with your own eyes, like, God be doing it. God be doing it. And I like how, like, your honesty with, I mean, sometimes I don't, like, my body don't feel good, but I still, like, press my way. And it's like every single time I do that, once I get to church, we good. It's just the getting there. Like, once you get there, you're good. And there's a lot of people that they don't feel like going, and they let that stop them. And it's like, man, you missing your deliverance. You missing your healing. Like, just press your way, and you will not regret it. But, man, all right.
I love my church.
Me too. Me too. I love the people there, like, everything.
And what I really like about it is our pastor. He's everywhere in that church. He could be preaching, and if something happens, he'll literally stop what he's doing and check.
Yep, we've seen it before.
It was one Sunday when I had a real bad spasm attack, and my wife ran out because I was falling on the floor and I couldn't do anything. And Bishop was preaching and came. He left the pulpit and came where I was, and immediately, you know, start praying for me. And the pastor's staff was all back there praying for me. And all I can say is it was God all over him. Because it's like my body was locked. I couldn't move. And when he touched me, all of a sudden my arms went to moving.
Wow.
You know, my legs start getting where I can start standing. And I was like, wow. And a lot of I mean, I got the most respect for Bishop Bender. I do. Because he takes time with
He
his
does.
people.
Yep.
You know, he genuinely loves people.
And a lot of people don't even know how jam-packed his schedule is. And so if people just realize that, and it's like, wow, he's taking out time to do something for me, like time he really don't even have, like, because it's always something else. And I remember that Sunday, you came back. Yeah, like
Came back and
he
started
came.
playing the guitar.
Yeah, he came back once they started playing, and like it was just like, oh my gosh, like.
And that's just an example of the power of God that's in this place.
Yep. That's why it's so important to go to a spirit-filled church with a pastor that has been called by God. Because I see a lot of day, like, everybody's not called to pastor, and I'm just thankful we go to a church where we have. And if you in Birmingham watching this, or really Alabama, or actually I was saying, if you in the surrounding states, yeah, we're online now, so y'all watch a live stream. But if you in the surrounding states, you can come too, because we have members from Mississippi. Huntsville is still in Alabama, but like we have members from all over. Yeah. But it is worth it because it's getting wild out here. But all right, we're about to close out. Is there anything else you want to say? Any advice you want to give to the music?
I would say this, just kind of hitting on the point what you mentioned about musicians that don't know if they're going to go left or right. You know, they monetary because it's in R&B and all of this. Don't give up on one your dream. Me, I enjoy music that's just in my blood. It's not about the money for me. I would do this even if I didn't get paid. But God can make anything happen. And if you put God first in everything you do, if it's music, put God first. That's how we got our first contract with MCA Records in the mid-'80s. And I've been blessed to meet and just be with a lot of my childhood idols. You know, one of them, Stevie Wonder, The Temptations, Eddie Kendricks, you know, of The Temptations. And, you know, just to name a few. But if you put God first, and no matter what you do, He will put the increase to it. But you got to have the faith and believe that He will. If you make the first step, He'll make the next one.
Period.
Yeah.
Literally. That was good. Alright, we're going to end on that, y'all. I hope this podcast was a blessing to you. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, KT, for being on the podcast.
You're welcome.
And don't forget to stay 10 toes behind Jesus, because you know He's 10 toes behind you.
10 toes.